What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Bulls Late. It's your host, Matt Johnson here. We have finally made it to Bulls basketball. The preseason opener is tomorrow. The Bulls will kick off a 5-game preseason slate tomorrow in Cleveland. I wanted to start today's show by looking at who's in and who's out. How will Chicago's newest addition, 18-year-old rookie Noah Essenga, look in his debut? And most importantly, which 5 will Billy Donovan send out to open the exhibition season here? It's expected that Coby White won't suit up in this one after suffering a calf strain sometime in August. The injury reportedly isn't serious, which is good, but VP of Basketball Operations Arturas Karnisovas said that Coby White will be limited throughout training camp as he works his way back from that. I think more telling, White was spotted in street clothes at practice over the weekend, rebounding and passing to teammates instead of getting shots up himself. So that is certainly something to monitor there in the health of Coby White. I don't think it's going to be anything major. It doesn't sound like that's the tune the Bulls are taking as management. So, I mean, when you look at White's absence, though, it sets off a snowball effect as the Bulls starting shooting guard, and his spot leaves a hole Donovan must fill here during this 5-game slate in the preseason. It's not so simple, though, especially with Chicago's starting small forward, spot still undecided as well, leaving 2 key spots up for grabs in the preseason here. So it'll be interesting to see how he navigates that. That is going to be something to pinpoint if you're watching the Bulls during this preseason slate here. I think that is definitely going to be telling in terms of how healthy Coby's going to be moving into the regular season that kicks off in just a couple of weeks here. So I think deciding the Bulls' 5th starter is also going to be important here. Obviously, I've talked about this leading up to the preseason here, but with Josh Giddey, Matas Buzelis, and Vooch already locked in as starters, the battle for the final 2 spots really come down to, and I talked about this last week, comes down to Dalen Terry, Isaac Okoro, Kevin Huerter, Pat Williams, and Tre Jones there. I've reported on this recently, but Dalen Terry has reportedly been making waves as he enters the final season of his rookie contract. His frame, his ball skills, and defense make him quite the enticing fit in Chicago's up-tempo offense, though he's still less proven than the others. I think Dalen Terry has a lot to prove to this Bulls brass still at this point in his Bulls career. He's been here for a little while now and needs to take that next step for the Bulls brass to trust him moving forward. So, when you look at Pat Williams, he's the opposite. He's been long considered a tantalizing prospect since the Bulls have drafted him that high in the first round. Really, he's never fully put it all together. After numerous stints as a starter here, it's really been kind of disappointing not to see Pat Williams grow into the guy the Bulls really need him to be. That leaves Isaac Okoro, Kevin Huerter, and Tre Jones there. Jones, however, as a natural floor general, fits better off the bench, I believe, leaving really Isaac Okoro and Kevin Huerter as realistic contenders in the starting lineup there. As a result, the likely starting 5 should be Josh Giddey, Kevin Huerter, Isaac Okoro, Matas Buzelis, and Vooch there. That 5 is Chicago's most complete unit. I've kind of hinted at that in previous episodes here leading up to the start of the preseason and regular season here. That kind of offers spot-up. That lineup itself offers a solid idea of spot-up shooting and point-of-attack defense while complementing the core trio of Giddey, Buzelis, and Vooch there. Huerter and Giddey really proved to be a terrific combo last season. I think we saw a lot of good things out of that combination. Okoro is essential. I think when you look at Isaac Okoro being here, he's essential for shoring up Chicago's perimeter defense. I've talked about this many times leading up to really right after the Lonzo Ball blockbuster trade was made. I think the perimeter defense is going to be very, very crucial when it comes to Isaac Okoro and what he brings to this roster. With Kevin Huerter and Okoro really both bringing key skills, the bigger question is who will be the 5th starter once White is healthy. I think when Coby comes back, sounds like that's not a major calf injury. We really won't know until the regular season begins or whatever Billy Donovan makes the call, really. I think the preseason, however, should help Chicago determine which player fits more seamlessly with the core here. I think the preseason and these 5 games are very important when it comes to that. I mean, when you look at it, is Herter's shooting more valuable to stretch defenses and streamline Chicago's offense? That remains to be seen. Or, when you look at Okoro, is his rugged perimeter D essential alongside Chicago's weaker defenders? I think that's a tough decision that Billy's going to have to make early on here. That remains to be seen. For now, I think playing both players together in Donovan's best bet, I think it's his best bet for the organization moving forward at assessing the Bulls' best lineup. I think I'm really going to be watching this 5-game preseason slate closely to see what kind of things stand out in terms of those decisions that Billy Donovan's going to need to make, as we are just right around the corner from really regular season Bulls basketball. So we'll keep an eye on that. Kind of hinting more at Noah Senge's role here. This is something I've talked about and tried to carve out an idea of what to expect from the real young rookie here. The Chicago Bulls have already kind of grasped the idea, and this is the mood in training camp really since it's kicked off at the Advocate Center, is that the idea is that Noah Senge is in for a rookie season that's heavy on development and light on minutes at the NBA level. I'm not surprised. If you guys remember, after drafting him as high as they did, I was really, set on the Bulls using this upcoming season to develop him. Now, opinions have varied in numerous markets here in Chicago, media markets. Across the country as well, has been saying, I think that Noah Senge should get as many minutes as possible. I think they should throw him into the fire. That doesn't sound like the approach the Bulls are willing to take here. That shouldn't really come as much as a surprise, given that the Frenchman's status as the youngest player in the draft class, the 2025 draft class, had only 25 total games of Euro Cup experience in one of the lower tier leagues of European basketball. So this guy is still a very raw talent. It shouldn't be a knock on him, however. He's shown flashes of immense upside as a lanky 6'10" combo forward. I think his massive wingspan is definitely something that's exciting. His tremendous athleticism. He has a good feel for the game and some handles for someone his size. So I think there's definitely optimism to be had with him. I think Bulls fans need to temper expectations, though, and not necessarily be up in arms when they say, well, we took this guy in the first round. Where's his contribution here? I think his elite defensive potential and finishing ability are exactly what the Bulls are looking for on the wing. I think the idea of an Asenge Modest Buzelis tandem is real captivating. You got two long, athletic, interchangeable playmaking forwards who can really wreak havoc defensively and dominate in transition. That sounds like a nightmare to game plan for, if you ask me. So I think when you're looking down the road, that offers some excitement for Bulls fans. I think that's going to be challenging for teams to really put together a game plan for those two guys. I think that dream just won't become a reality this year, if I'm being honest with you guys. Looking at what AK and Billy Donovan both said about Noah Senge, AK said, we're just going to have to see how Senge does the rest of training camp and how he does in the preseason. We'll make those decisions then. And then Billy Donovan chimed in, adding, he's going to have to get better with his strength. He's going to have to get better guarding the ball one-on-one. I think as young as Asenge is, this is going to be a process for him. And I totally am on Billy Donovan's side here. I think there's a template for him to follow, though. I think that when you look at Billy Donovan kind of nurturing and bringing along these young players, he has a history in how he does that. Specifically looking at Modest Buzelis, he didn't start until February 5th this past season, this last year, and he only averaged 14 minutes through his first 49 games, as Billy really brought him along slowly. And I think you can expect more of the same with Noah Senge. And really, Senge is behind where Buzelis was in his development. Depending on how the Bulls, or how the season plays out, the 18-year-old might see some time with the big club in the spring. I think realistically, though, until then, he's going to get his feet wet with the organization's G League affiliate, the Windy City Bulls. So we'll keep an eye on Noah Senge in the Windy City Bulls organization. If he gets a lot of minutes over there, we'll surely want to see how he's being brought along, how the development is going. I know there's a ton of optimism for this player, but he is still super young. So I want to caution Bulls fans for not getting their hopes up too high from the jump with this guy. I know the frustration was there, just kind of being around the city and the mood when Modest wasn't getting the minutes, but this is definitely something that Billy Donovan does to kind of protect these young players from not being brought up into the NBA style play the proper way. I think that could really damage a young player if he's not brought up in the proper manner. So we'll see how that shakes. Lastly, I wanted to kind of just get some fan expectations from you guys, some season expectations. We're just a couple weeks away. What do you guys expect this year? I really want to hear and get interactive with you guys in the comments here. Share the expectations that you have for this Bulls team in the comments. I'll go over them during my game preview tomorrow morning. I think it's going to be a really exciting preseason slate for this Bulls team, an opportunity to really see what we have, especially with Kobe sidelined due to that calf injury. There's a lot of questions to answer in this next couple of weeks here before we kick off the regular season there at the United Center. So exciting times ahead. Basketball is back. I will give you guys a game preview tomorrow. Again, leave your thoughts in the comments. I'd be interested to know what you guys think. What do you think on Noah Esenge? Who do you want to see the Bulls tag as their fifth starter? So there's a lot of questions that we could answer here. I'll give you guys my thoughts on the game tomorrow and preview that as well. I want to thank you guys for joining me to start the week on another episode of Bulls Latest. Again, your guys' support on the show has been awesome throughout the offseason and the summer league, and now we're here about to kick off the 2025-26 preseason here. I cannot wait. Regular season ball is right around the corner. So thanks again for joining me, guys. We will see you tomorrow.